website that makes it so that you can go live across like Facebook, YouTube, whatever. And I still don't really know what I'm doing with it. So we're just limping along. Hi, Facebook. Hi, YouTube. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Just hanging out at home. This is day 2 of apparently having COVID, even though I feel great. So I think I'm going to try to go live every day that I'm just stuck at home. Because it's just me and my kiddo all day. Can't really go anywhere. Oh my God, makeup right there. So yeah, I'm going to come on here and hang out and ask questions and talk and have my adult time without infecting anyone with COVID. Well, that's really hanging out there. So yeah, I'm very extroverted, and being stuck at home for several days is not my thing. So how's it going, Kat? I don't have anything specific to talk about as usual. I don't come on here and like specifically have a like topic of the day or like sub narcissistic abuse. Like today we're going to talk about reactive abuse. Today we're going to talk about isolating or whatever. I don't usually do that. So pretty much anything is on the table. If you have a question, I'm happy to support you through that. If you want to talk about anything else, I also am a mom. I like to travel. I have 2 dogs. I don't know. There's a lot more about me than just abuse. So anything is fair game. I'm not too bad. I'm glad you're feeling okay though. Yeah, me too. I really am. I am glad to not have to repeat it because last time it was really yucky. So shouldn't really complain, but rough time. I'm allowing myself to be sad. I gave like all of yesterday to just kind of like mope around. I did make some TikToks. And I was like, I'm just gonna mope around. I'm gonna let myself be sad because it sucks, but could be worse for sure. My grandma called me yesterday. My grandparents are 90 years old and they have COVID, and they've had it for like, well, I don't know if they're still testing positive, but like they're having like the lingering symptoms. They didn't have it too bad, which is really lucky because again, they're 90 years old. And, but she called me and like, you could tell that she's still sick, and we're just both sitting at home talking on the phone with each other. And like, yeah. Did you just test as a precaution for your trip? Yes, I did. Spain actually still requires you. The rule is that if you're fully vaccinated, but your last vaccine was within 270 days, no questions asked, you can get on. So the last time Adler and I went to Spain in May, I was within that window, no problem. I was just in Mexico. Mexico's no longer asking for it. The US is no longer asking for anything specific, but it's just Spain. France doesn't ask for it. I was flying through France. I was like, I can get to France, but they won't let me on the plane because they know I'm going to Spain. Not that I was like, just let me on the plane, even though I have COVID, but it was just like, like what? Like what are the odds of all of this? That like, I mean, I would have gotten on a plane and probably gotten people sick and then been walking around Spain if I had remained symptom free without even knowing it, which is just like the crazy thing about the current state of the pandemic. I mean, I guess that's how it was before, except for like you were required to test for more things. So maybe it would have been caught sooner, but like, I mean, we've all like lots of us have just walked around with COVID without even knowing it and surely gotten people sick. And that's just where we're at right now. But yeah, I'm glad that, I mean, I don't know if I've like had it for a while because again, like no testing to and from Mexico. Like, I don't know if I had it a week ago and it's like lingering, or if I like it just popped up and I have like a ways to go. But the current rule that I got from the hospital was that if you still have no symptoms in 5 days, you don't even have to retest. You're just good to go, which is crazy because it used to be like if you had COVID, no matter what, you had to like quarantine for 14 days and all that stuff. So yeah, nowadays, like my friend was asking me, we do Marco Polo a lot because we're both moms and we're really busy. If you don't know what Marco Polo is, it's like a video chat app, but you just like do a video and it sends on the app and then they respond and you can respond whenever, which works if you're like really busy. And you can't just like FaceTime your friends all the time. But she was like, asking me like, what do you do? Because the rules are changing so often that it's like, I don't know, let me research it because it's just always changing. You're so pretty. Oh, thank you. Well, that was a good one. Hi, Bernadine who? I heard that. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. I'm really sore because on Wednesday I went back to pole class for the first time in like 3 months. And we did not hold back. Like basically she was like, let me see, can your body still do these things? And I was able to do the things like my brain and my body. There was a couple like brain glitches that I was like, wait, this like this way or that. Okay, yeah, all right, got it. But we were climbing because right before I left for uh, Spain in May, we were starting to climb the pole, and I'm pointing right there because I have a pole right there. But like we went right back into it. So I was climbing and stuff, and now I'm just like, life's current theme song. That's such a good question. The song that I've been playing on repeat, which isn't really a theme song, like I don't relate to it at all, is called Provenza by who sings that? I'm gonna play it. It's gonna be really loud because I have you on the speaker right now. So let me see. But again, it's not a theme song because I don't relate to it. Basically, she's like, hey, I've been with someone for a while. Now I'm single. Let me dip back into like this ex partner fling that I had. Let's see if we still have chemistry. And I don't relate to that at all because I've never like gone back to someone I was with before. But the song is just like so catchy. So I'm going to skip ahead. No, I'm not. So this is what I like listen to a lot of times when I'm like, when I first get in the car. I forgot that YouTube is behind me and now my phone is right in front of it. No one's on anyway, but so yeah, let's relive old times, all that stuff. But so yeah, I don't relate to it, but I love the song. I love the like, I just love her voice. I forgot to say who sings it. Oh, Carol G. So yeah, what about y'all? Do you have a current life theme song? Welcome in, everybody. Just so you know, I can't remember what I titled my TikTok. I don't know what it's entitled, but I'm just here hanging out. I'm on day 2 of being COVID positive without any symptoms. I was supposed to be in Spain right now, so I'm kind of trying to like perk myself up by coming on here, hanging out with all of you, having some adult time because I'm just home alone with my 4-year-old. So yeah. You can ask me anything. It doesn't have to be abuse related. If it is abuse related, please know that this is a safe place. You can ask me anything. And we will talk it out. All right, I'm putting you back so that if anyone does join on YouTube, oh, hi, someone is in here. I don't know who's in here, but yeah. What sets your soul on fire? Travel. If I could do anything in the world, I would be like, it's weird because I'm not like, I want to be a travel influencer because a lot of travel influencers, I feel like, they're the same. I'm not saying they're like the same person, but it's kind of like the same story, the same setup, the same tendencies, the same whatever. But like, I really want to travel and like with my son and some solo travel and like go to new places and like do as the locals do and share that and share what it's like traveling alone with a 4-year-old and share what it's like traveling like after abuse, like when you're getting your life back and you're starting to be you again and like taking back all the things that like you lost while you're in it. Like that's what I really, 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 really want to do. But it's expensive to travel and I'm not a travel influencer and I don't get sponsored and I don't get collabs and that's okay. I don't want to sound like a first world brat, but like that's what sets my soul on fire. And that's what I would do if I could do anything. What French toast going on in here? We're just hanging out. Lindsay, I don't know how to make my girlfriend leave. Any advice? I need more information. Are you on a lease together? Are you on a mortgage together? Whose house is it? Technically, if you're not on it together, have you asked her to leave? Favorite food combination that others might find weird. Oh, okay. Bernadine, you're asking great questions. I really like this. This is like outside of my usual stuff. Also, right now you're top #1 viewer, so that's cool. I don't know. I don't think I eat anything weird. I like to have, so there's this like really weird dish that I grew up eating. We were like really poor and I'm from Indiana, so it's like weird Amish food. It's like potatoes with peas and then like a cream sauce, like a white cream sauce made from like flour and butter and milk. It's not healthy. There's like a lot of butter in it. And it's really good. And then I like it leftover with just like pickles on the side. Like I'll take a bite of it and then I'm like, I want a pickle. And I don't know why. Nobody else in my family is like, I'm going to slap some pickles on the side of this leftover dish. But yeah, kind of weird. Probably the dish itself is weird. Is a pound of feathers or rocks heavier? Okay. How do you go no contact again after breaking contact? You just go no contact again. If you break contact, like if you break no contact, don't beat yourself up. Don't feel like you're stuck now, because I can remember like I only went no contact one time. I went no contact one time, but I would make progress in leaving. I would make progress in emotionally distancing myself from my abuser, even physically. And then I would do like a backslide, and then I would feel stuck. I'd be like, well, I'm here now, so I got to keep working through it. Like one of the things that I've talked about in the last couple of months is that I had stopped sharing them on social media for probably 2 or 3 months. And people were just like, okay, well, I mean, I think they're still together. I'm not going to ask any questions, but she just stopped sharing about this person. So trouble in paradise. Like people were like, yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable sharing them because things were so bad. But we still live together. And then we did like a save the relationship trip to Mexico. And I was like, well, now here I am. I shared them on my story. We're in Mexico together. Now I just have to try. I just have, not like I have to act and fake it, but I was like, I have to actually try to make this work now because I did this thing. So don't fall for that, because that's absolutely not true. Just go right back, block them on everything. Try to like redirect when you get the urge to reach out to them. Like set something up to where like maybe you have a trusted friend where you text them. And I would be careful not to just like how do I say this? Like just like fully depend on them, but just be like, hey, I'm just texting you to hold myself accountable instead of texting them. Like, obviously don't like dump on them unless they're available for it, because it's a huge, heavy thing. And other people have their struggles too. So like, you got to find that balance of like being able to reach out and be like, I'm really struggling right now, versus being like, I'm going to depend on, like, while I'm breaking this trauma bond, I'm going to bond with you and depend on you for survival, because that's not good either, right? Just have that person that's like, or people who are your go-to support network, or like, oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. I feel like I have to contact this person and go for a walk. Go do something that's going to clear your mind. They're called green peas. Yep. Most people that I talk to have not heard of that, but yes. Biggest pet peeve, when people don't respect my boundaries, it's an immediate no for me. So if I set a boundary and you challenge it, it's a no. It's an immediate no. Absolutely not. I also don't like the sound of people chewing. I also don't like when people scrape their teeth on their silverware. Immediately no. Oh, that is sage advice I needed to hear. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for asking. Like I said, anything you're struggling with, anything, like if you've seen my recent content and you're like, what did that mean? Or why did you post that? Or can you expand upon that? That's what I'm here for too. Anything. And we can talk about, like, I'm loving that Bernadine is asking me all these random questions. Favorite dessert? I really do just like a plain, just like a vanilla ice cream. I feel like it's kind of like refreshing, but I really, really love like my family's recipe of like homemade apple pie. It has like a crumble topping. Again, not healthy. There's a lot of butter in it. Not that like, I mean, it's a lot of butter. Like, I'm not the kind of person that's like unhealthy foods, whatever, but it is a lot of butter. And growing up, when it was just me and my mom, like we would eat half the pie each because I love it that much. It's so good. All bills in apartment are in my name. I keep telling my girlfriend to leave, but she won't. Call the police. Call the police. I know it sounds horrible, but if she won't leave, she's like squatting on your property. Is she paying bills? Is she paying you for rent? Is she paying you? Like her name is not on the lease. You have absolutely no agreement that says that she, whatever. Even if she is paying bills, say if you're not out by this, okay, you're doing everything, call the police. Call the police. Everything is in your name. If she will not leave, I mean, that's illegal. That's like, even though she's been staying there, or like, I don't know, she's been living there, it's not her home. It is not her space. You don't owe her anything. If she's abusing you, she's treating you like crap, even if she's not, and you're just like, I don't want to be with you and you're not leaving, call the police. They won't arrest her. They won't charge her with anything. They'll just escort her away. And if she keeps coming over, then get like a, I forget what it's called. Not a restraining order. It might be a restraining order. Just keep her away. The police have worse things to deal with. Tell her you're really done with her this time and cut her off for real. You're right. The police do have worse things to deal with. However, if this person is not leaving her property and will not leave, it's not easy. See, that comment upset me a little bit because she might not leave. And you're basically saying that this person has to just deal with it herself. I called the police on my abuser because my abuser was threatening to come to my house and walk into my house without permission. And I called them and they were willing to wait outside for me. There are times that you need help to get free from somebody, and that is absolutely okay. Because what happens if she doesn't and this person stays and stays and stays and she sees that and says, well, I shouldn't burden the police. This person said I shouldn't burden the police, so I just have to sit here and do this. That is not okay. I don't know you. I'm not trying to personally attack you, but please, let's be careful with what we're saying. While we want to be careful with calling first responders, because yes, absolutely, there might be something more pressing, we might also genuinely need the police to help us. I'm not being a Karen. I'm not going to call the police because someone got in line in front of me at Starbucks. That's a ridiculous thing to say. Okay, I'm done. I don't think that's ever happened to me before where I got upset like that. I don't think I've ever gone off on someone like that. I hope it wasn't it's called trespassing. Our state doesn't go by that. It's terrible. If they've slept here for longer than 14 days, where do you live? They live here? Tenants have more rights here. It's terrible. Where do you live? I know, but the girlfriend said she's just being dramatic. She should tell her she's not. No, but I feel like you're still not understanding unless I'm reading what you're saying wrong. The girlfriend said she's being dramatic. Gaslighting. That's gaslighting. This person is saying, I'm done with you. Please leave my home. I'm guessing this person has said it several times. Leave my home. The person has not left. She's completely ignoring that she doesn't need to be there at all. And on top of it, she's gaslighting this person to say, you're being dramatic. You're not going to kick me out. I don't have to leave. So what I'm saying is that by this point in time, been warned multiple times, been asked to leave multiple times, and now is gaslighting in order to stay, this person needs outside help. This person who's gaslighting is not going to just leave. Let me tell you something. I was on a lease with my abuser. I lived with my abuser, and I have a son. My abuser refused to leave. When we broke up, my abuser was not going to leave. And I knew that my abuser was not going to leave, so I left. We were on a lease together, so it's a little bit different. I left for 3 months. I paid the lease, my part of the lease. My abuser stayed there for 2 more months, and then they left, and I paid 1 more month just to hold my stuff there because I wanted extra time before I came back to get my stuff. A lot of times with these people, you have to have, they only left because I disappeared, stopped talking to them, stopped responding to them. They were blocked on everything. They kind of were like, well, I guess I just have to leave now because this person's not going to come back. You got to push them out. They don't just leave. They're moochers. You way overreacted there. If you don't like my response, you can go. I'm sorry, but you were being really not understanding what this person was asking for. And basically your response was kind of shut up and deal with it. And I don't think that's okay. And I don't want that person to see that response and feel even more trapped. So if you think I'm overreacting, you are not stuck here. I have been for months, but she's a narcissist and the world revolves around her. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. She's not going to leave on her own. If you don't want to call the police because our friend here thinks that you shouldn't call the police, call anybody. Call anybody that you think will come over and help you. So if you have if your parents are nearby, if you have another friend who can come over, Hey, welcome in. How's it going? You missed it. I just went off on somebody and apparently I overreacted. So sorry you missed that. I actually got pretty frustrated there for a second. One of my biggest, so yesterday I went live with Ben Taylor from Raw Motivations, and he was like, I'm on the soapbox, like I'm going off, I'm doing all this stuff. Like, what's something that like what puts you on a soapbox? And I couldn't think of anything. That put me on the soapbox because essentially it came off as one of those comments that it was one of those comments that was like, well, don't do that. Well, you should just do that. And it's not helpful to survivors and victims who especially are still in it. That kind of stuff makes me mad. It's like the people who are like, well, just leave or just do this or just do that and blah, blah, blah. And it's not helpful. And that makes me so angry. Not angry. It's just like, why can you not see that that's not going to help anybody? That there's other things that we have to do. Yeah, I might need a moderator. Oh my God, why are you still on about it? Like, I'm a kid and I want to understand you're literally 16. So you shouldn't be in my life anyway. You're a child and you're acting like a child. So you should probably leave. Yeah. Thanks, Kat. Nevada. Okay, so you live in Nevada? Sorry, I had to leave for a few. Yeah, you left at a really bad time. But it's okay because I'm glad that happened because I really like, of course, there are no trolls until I leave. Like, as soon as you left, like 10 of them came in. Not really. It was just one. But like it's just like dudes. It's always just dudes. Is there a way? Does anyone know if there's a way to like block children from joining your lives? Yeah, Kat, you missed it though. I went off. Did she ever come back after you were done? No. I doubt they were 16. Yeah, they're probably just responding to that because I went off. I think you can make your lives age restricted. I need to look into that because I'm not talking about anything that kids need to be see anyway. Like watching from Cape Town, South Africa. Welcome in. I don't think there is. It would be nice though. Yeah, it would be really nice. My nose is itchy. Yeah, no, so my abuser did not come back. Okay, hold on. When I first left, and I have podcast episodes about this, when I first left the home where we lived together, I came to where I am now. This is the house where I lived with my son's dad. We now share this house, but we have opposite schedules. So it's not like, we're not a couple. We spend most of our time like swapping off. But I came here and he was out of state for 90 days. So he was not here, which kind of forced me to have to leave. I left the state because my abuser knew where we were. We're 3 minutes up the road and they kept showing up. They broke in one morning. They were waiting outside for me to let the dogs in. They would text me like I'd be working and they would be like, just Hoover attempt. They were experiencing what's called narcissistic injury. So they were just like trying right and left. Like, what can I do? How can I get this person back? Like, they didn't have new supply lined up. So it was just panic. And it like very like irrational behavior. And I was starting to get scared for my son. So I called my mom and I was like, I'm really scared. And she was like, book a one-way ticket right now. You're coming home. Even though I had just been in Indiana taking some time apart to see how it felt to be away from this person, which by the way, it was amazing. And I delayed my trip back to Washington because like I felt so safe with my family. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go back. This is horrible. So after that, I never saw them again. When I got on the plane and left and I stayed gone for 90 days, I never saw them again. Although they did drive past me one day when I got back, like a couple months after I got back and tried to reach out to me. And I was like, well, I got to black you on this now too. Yeah. But other than that, no, they never tried to come back. Were you able to recognize MPD in your partner before you left? Yes, I did start to realize and understand what was going on before I left. And so I started to recognize the tactics. So they would be talking to me. And because I now had this like new knowledge, whereas before I didn't. So before we would get in these like the circular arguments and this and that, where you're like, I don't even know what we're arguing about anymore. And now I'm able to slow it down and be like, oh, gaslighting. Okay, they're trying to gaslight me here. Stay calm. Okay, that was just manipulation. Okay, here's some word salad, because I now had like the vocabulary, which sounds silly, but I was able to just like be like, okay, they're trying to gas, and just instead of like listening to what they were saying and reacting, I was like, but also just like, nice attempt there. Interesting. Okay, I see what you're doing. Oh, guilt tripping. Okay, all right. Because I was armed with those tools. And then when I left and started the process of breaking the trauma bond, which, woo, like one of the hardest things I've ever done, but absolutely worth it. And the brain fog like started to clear up. That's when I was like, holy moly. Very like textbook narcissist, like the things that when you're in it, you're kind of like, well, I don't like, I don't know, I might be overreacting. Or I might be making up. Well, they told me I'm overreacting, so I must be. And like, so on and so forth. But when you're out of it, it's clear as day. Can't unsee it. So now, like when I see things from when I was in it, when I see like the screenshots of like our conversations and like their threats and this and that, and like videos of them like storming off and threatening me and all this stuff, which I don't share, because I don't share, like, I try not to like share anything that's like actually like identifying information of them. It's impossible to unsee it. So yeah, it was much easier to understand once I was gone and out of the trauma bond and no contact with them and everybody who knows them. But I definitely knew before I left that they were a narcissist. You are important. Oh, thank you. Watching from Kuwait. Oh, hi. Oh my God. Oh, wow. I'm so scared this is going to happen to me and my son. Did you ever record fights? My phone is full of arguments. And like just listening back to it, it's hard to listen to. And I don't like, I listen to them when I find them. But it's not like I just sit there and like, I need a reminder, but like when like you hear how calm I am and you hear me like repeating back, like I'm not perfect. I definitely was toxic when I was in it, but like you hear me saying things like, okay, so you're saying that I will never be happy with another person because there's something wrong with me. No, I never said that. It's in the recording. You just said that. Like I'm repeating back what they say, and then they're gaslighting, and then they're this and they're that. They're stonewalling. Like if I could make a documentary with the videos of our arguments, like it would be like, it could be the most incredible lesson for people to like, I don't know, like we're listening to it and we're like, okay, all right. Did anyone pick up on which narcissistic abuse tactic we just saw? Stonewalling, right? Okay, let's talk about stonewalling. Like, it's just like, it's textbook. I only recorded them. There were some from earlier on, but at the end, I was recording them a lot for my own safety, because I was actually afraid of them. Once I realized, but I don't think I realized how violent and dangerous they were until I was out of it, which is probably good. Like it sounds horrible, but it's probably good that I didn't fully understand like how in physical danger that we were until I was gone. Oh my God, yes, the arguments can go on for hours. Even when I refuse to participate, it can go on for hours. They just, yeah. What does it mean to break the trauma bond? So if you are in a trauma bond, it's like you're addicted to the person who's abusing you. So they're hurting you, but you're still kind of like desperately attached to them, and you don't think you can live without them. So you're like, I actually hate this person. I don't like this person at all, but oh my God, what would I do without them? I can't imagine leaving them. I don't know what I would do. Like you're panicking. You're like, I don't know what, you're addicted to them. It's essentially like quitting a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction where you have withdrawals. You have withdrawals. When I went no contact, I would check my phone, and I did not want, it was before I blocked them, because I didn't like, I white knuckled no contact. I didn't have anyone else modeling it. I didn't know what to do, but like, I just stopped responding. I just ignored, but I was just like, I was so trained to expect something from them, good or bad. And then to get that, like, I liken it to like a slot machine in a casino. Like, yeah, there's my kick of the trauma bond, even though it's bad. But at the same time, I was like, please don't message me. And then I did eventually block. It's very hard. It's very, very difficult to do, but it's essential for healing. So true. No, I'm scared too. Scared to what? I'm sorry. I was like rambling. I only recorded one, but wrote it all out during therapy years later. Was super helpful to see the patterns super clear. Yes, exactly. Yes. And I do recommend journaling. if it's safe to do so. Some people, like, if your abuser's going to find it, and then like I had someone the other day say that their abuser found it, read it, made them rewrite and like write good things, so which is horrible. But like make sure it's safe. But having journals, and I would email myself. I have both like digital things, like digital journal stuff, and I have actual handwritten journal stuff where like you can look back. And like for me, one of the things that really helped me was like when I got to my mom's house, which is my safe space to break the trauma bond, to go no contact, to do all that stuff, was going back and reading how I wrote when I was in the beginning, where I was like really level headed because I thought I was crazy when I left. And you already feel crazy. So you're like, yeah, definitely. But it really helps to be able to look back and be like, wow, like I was communicating so clearly, even though it's like in an email. I was trying to understand things. I was reaching out. I was inviting them to communicate, which they never responded. They would never respond back to those things. I was inviting them to journal with me. I like got a shared journal so that we could write back and forth, like good memories, like struggles, everything like that. They never wanted to take part in that, but it really helped me to be like, complete downslide. And I remember thinking while I was in it, like certain times that like I would react to something and I was like, I feel like I'm in middle school and I'm arguing with my mom, because my mom and I had kind of that push-pull relationship, arguments, things like that, just like lack of, my mom's not a narcissist, but like we could not make our relationship work. We're fine now. But like I just felt like a huge regression, like mentally. I was like, I feel like I'm 17 or 15, really. But being able to recognize that in writing. How long were you together? Sorry, my nose itches all of a sudden. We were together for 2.5 years. I don't think I've been bonded to anyone. Look up a trauma bond, and read about it and see if it resonates with you. I'm scared to record the arguments. I don't want her to find them. I mean, you could record them, like email them to yourself or someone else, and then delete them. But yeah, if you don't feel safe, then definitely don't do it. Oh, hello again. Hi. Welcome in. How's it going? I'm just hanging out for a little bit while Adler's having his quiet time. If you don't know, I'm on day 2 of apparently having COVID. I tested positive for COVID, even though I have 0 symptoms and I feel great. And yeah, I had to cancel my trip to Spain. I'm supposed to be in Spain right now, which I wouldn't be on TikTok Live. I would be out and about exploring and having a good time. But here we are. Here we are. Not much I can do about it. But yeah. No, that's terrible. It is terrible. I'm really actually really sad. I had a lot of caffeine, and I do get like energized by coming on here and having these conversations with all of you, but like I'm pretty bummed. And my suitcase is right there and it's all packed. People outside of it don't get how fast it goes and how dreamy and safest feeling it starts at. Yeah, people don't understand, and a lot of people don't understand that the love bombing itself is abuse. It's a manipulation tactic to lure you into a false relationship. They're luring you in. They're not starting a relationship with you. They're luring you into a relationship that is the opposite of what they're showing you. How long were you going for? I was going to go for 10 days, and it was going to be a solo trip, and it was going to be my longest time without my son. I just wanted to go and do the things that I really couldn't do with him there. And I was going to stay with a friend, and we were going to hang out, and I was going to relax, and I'm going to go sightsee and just do all the things. But hopefully I'll get to do a trip later on. I don't know if it'll be Spain, but we'll see. I'm sorry. That was the same with me both times I tested positive, 0 symptoms. Yeah, and it's a bummer because like mentally you're like, why do I have to stay home? Like I feel great. Like this sucks. But at the same time, like obviously I would rather not have symptoms. And apparently the current rules, like if you have no symptoms, you can go back to real life sooner than if you do, which is great. But yeah, the last time I had it, this is my second time. The last time I had it, it was freaking horrible. So I'm hoping that I stay this way and just kind of glide through it and go back to real life in however many days. But I'm sorry you're missing out on Spain, but thank you for helping me. No problem. I'm glad that you popped in here today. I hope it was helpful. I'm sorry about the kid. Um, and I am sorry that I went off. And I'm not sorry that I went off. It's like some people mean well when they say things, but they don't realize how destructive it can be for survivors, especially those who are still in it. It's destructive. It's harmful. And that's one of the things that really gets to me is the harmful comments like that. Is it normal though that it questions me in the start of something new, double checking everything? I don't think I understand what you're asking. I'm sorry. Morning from Australia again. Sorry to hear you're COVID positive. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much and welcome in. Good afternoon, sunshine from the Poconos. Nice. Makes me feel like I'm the problem. I still don't really quite understand what the question is. I probably won't stay on too much longer because it is really nice outside today and we're like at the tail end of like the nice PNW weather. And since we're stuck here anyway, and I can't be in Spain where I really want to be, I'm probably going to go outside and spend some time outside while it's nice. In a new relationship, it makes me doubt their intentions. That's normal. Yes. Okay. I understand you now. That's completely normal. I've been single for a year now and I don't really trust anybody and I don't want to trust anybody. I am enjoying being single. And I find a lot of people who like, they'll ask me about dating and how I feel and all that stuff. And it's completely normal to like not trust someone and to not want to XYZ after abuse. But yeah, I think it's really important to like trust yourself. Like I would rather stay single than try to date before I'm ready because either I'm going to get hurt again, end up with the wrong person again. I don't believe in the right person, but end up with someone who's not good. And or I'm going to destroy someone else with my own emotional unavailability. If that makes sense. Do you think NPD behavior is always conscious? Like, how aware are they of what they're doing? So Ben Taylor and I talked about that yesterday. He answered it. He's a self-aware narcissist. He's at Raw Motivations. And he said, well, yes, sometimes there are things that's like they're calculated where they're like, I'm going to do this to hurt you. A lot of times the thing is, and it's really hard to think about this without like then feeling like empathy for them and then like staying longer because you're like, oh my gosh, that must be so hard. Like he said a couple things yesterday that I was like, oh my gosh, it must be so hard to live like that. Not hard enough for me to want to stick around, right? But a lot of times it's simply their defense mechanism because a lot of time, I mean, narcissism often comes from childhood abuse, childhood neglect. And like my ex had like severe emotional neglect as a child, but then was like coddled like financially or like probably like in disciplinary ways. It was just like, you can get away with whatever you want, but also go in your room and stay there. And we don't really care about what your feelings are. And it's like a horrible way to be. And what happens is they turn inward instead of like still trying to make connections with people. Like they're like they have to have someone to abuse. They have to have supply. But they're so turned inward. Their focus is so inward because they live in their own little shell of a world. And so a lot of times it's like a knee-jerk self-defense, like self-emotional defense tactic that's not necessarily calculated. However, they do have these like this tool belt of tactics, right? Those are the ones that we learn about: gaslighting, manipulation, blame shifting, all of that stuff. They have this whole tool belt, which they developed like a long time ago that they could just get and throw because they've been doing it for so long. So is it always intentional? Or is it a self-defense mechanism? Depends on the moment, I'm sure. Makes sense. My abuser, I finally got to the point I wanted to get away. I was getting on with my life and I think they know what they're doing, but they don't know why. I think a lot of times they know what they're doing. Like they know how to make you jealous and insecure and isolate you and all that stuff. And they know they're doing it. But they don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like they don't feel like if I did that to someone, if I was really jealous and insecure and I was like, isolate this person, like I'm going to make sure nobody comes around. Like I would feel guilty. I would look at them and I would be like, man, that wasn't really fair of me to do. Like, I still want to hang out with my friends, but I'm not letting them because I'm so insecure. Like, that's not really fair. Okay, what do I do now? Maybe I'll go to therapy to try to figure out why I'm so insecure. Like, I just couldn't, I would feel so bad. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair. Like, I deserve to have friends. You deserve to have friends. But yeah, I don't think they really understand like why they're just walking around constantly destroying everybody. I don't know. I don't know. Should we feel sorry for them? Yes, I think we should. I have a lot of empathy towards my abuser. I have a lot of empathy towards narcissists because I bet you that childhood, like, and some of them think they had good childhoods because they have blacked out so much. Like Ben Taylor says, he's like, I don't know how I got here, but I'm here. Like, he blacked out a lot of, that's really sad. I mean, I did too, but like, I can feel empathy for you, but I do not have to let you in my life. I feel sorry for you that you're never going to find the happiness that I'm going to find, that I do find, that I create for myself. You're never going to feel that. You're going to constantly be looking and looking and looking for the rest of your life. You're going to still be hurting people and you're going to get hurt as well, even though like you don't really care. But like, it's a horrible way to live. And yeah, I absolutely feel sorry for narcissists. But again, I don't have to let them in my life. I'm actually meeting Ben Taylor and Lee Hammock in October. And I'm really nervous about it because it's going to be the first time that I've like knowingly looked a narcissist in the eyeballs in person. And it feels odd to me. I'm really excited about meeting them and the other creators that are going to be in Austin, Texas. But like, there's something inside me that's just like, man, my experience was so horrible. Like, and I'm supposed to share space with you, but I've done lives with them. I've created with them. They're incredible resources, I think, but it's just a scary thing because once you've been burned like that, it's hard. We'll see. I'm sure I'll be completely fine, but there's part of me that's just like in the live that I did with Ben Taylor yesterday, like him describing his tactics, because again, he's self-aware, so he knows when he's doing something and why. I get triggered by it. And I'll just say, like, I'll make a face and I'm like, oh, and he's like, I know, I'm sorry. Like, it triggers me because I'm like, this is horrible. This is crazy. But what he's doing is really helpful. Lee Hammock is one of the people who helped me get out of mine. How do you finally end the cycle once and for all? You got to get away from them and you got to go no contact. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but it's an absolute must. And if you have the finances, like the resources for it and the time, I would definitely recommend hiring a coach to help you work through it. I am doing one-on-ones as well. I'm about to hopefully hear back soon about my certification that I just worked my butt off for, which will make me feel more comfortable coaching, but I am offering one-on-ones. So if that's something you want to do, that's always an option. You can feel sorry and not want to stay in contact. Absolutely. Thank you. They're self-aware. Remind yourself that. Yeah. What if it's your parent? Like, I'm so aware of my dad's behaviors and I don't like he's my dad. There are several people in our group that have narcissistic parents. And essentially you have to choose how much you want them to be in your life. So if you don't want to go no contact, you can decide to say like, well, we can meet in public and we can meet for coffee and talk, but like that way I can leave whenever I want to. I'm not going to go to your house. You're not coming to mine. You can not answer the phone when they call. Like, you can do all the things that you need to do to protect your mental health and well-being because they're not looking out for your mental health at all. They don't care if you're struggling. And if you are struggling, it's your fault. It's nothing to do with them. And you're actually ruining their day by having a hard time. So, all right. Anything else, y'all? I think I'm just going to give this another little minute here. How do I know if I'm in a trauma bond relationship? Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm going to read the little side-by-side graphic that helped me figure it out. So I was like, when I was in it, I was constantly looking for the answers for why it was so bad, why I was so bad, because I thought it was all on me. And one day, like while I was looking things up, I came across this little turn my camera around. How does this work? I don't know how to use this. It's right here. It just says trauma bond. Oh, it's not even loaded. It says trauma bond versus love. You can just Google it. Just Google it. So, trauma bond. The relationship starts with instant attraction and irresistible chemistry versus true love. The relationship starts with attraction and curiosity that builds over time. Trauma bond. The connection is highly physical and sexual. True love. The connection is physical, sexual, emotional, and intellectual. Trauma bond. The relationship, cycles through extreme highs and lows. True love. The relationship is stable and predictable based on mutual trust. Trauma bond. Important conversations are avoided. True love. Important conversations are a priority. Trauma bond. The relationship feels like an addiction that you are powerless to quit. True love. The relationship feels like an honor, a privilege, and a choice. So I read that. Every single one was on the trauma bond side. Not one was on the true love side. Y'all, at this point, if you're honest with yourself, there's no denying it. You can't be like, well, I don't know. Like, we do have trust. No, you don't. You never did. If you're in a trauma bond, there was never trust. You've been walking on eggshells since day one. Trust me. Like, well, some of y'all maybe not, but like, so let's talk about each one of these, okay? The trauma bond, the relationship starts with instant attraction and irresistible chemistry. So this is when, like, I've talked about the first night that I hung out with my abuser and I thought it was fate. They would say, this is fate. This is impossible to avoid. This feels like it was just like all set in motion. It happened at the right time, blah, 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 blah. They calculated it. They invited me over. They had it all set up. We were going to get in the hot tub. We were going to have old fashions. They were going to turn on the lighting because it was nighttime. They were going to do this. They were going to do that. They were going to say this. They were going to say that. It was calculated to make me feel like I was falling in love, to make me feel like it was fate. And it worked. Okay. So there's that. And the problem is that a lot of us fall for that because we are addicted to the idea of this like love, instant connection, like what you see in movies and books and songs and all this stuff. That's like one thing that I learned was that like when you feel that immediate chemistry and you're like butterflies and all that stuff. And some people will argue with me like, no, I feel butterflies with if it's like a calm butterfly and you're like, oh, I'm really excited. But if it's like your nervous system is like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, oh, mixed signals, but I really like it. And I'm really attracted to their dark side and blah, blah, blah. Like run. It's not good. Okay. We need to slow it down. So the relationship starts with attraction and curiosity that builds over time. So sometimes we miss the opportunity for these healthy relationships because we're like, well, I don't know. Like we went on a date, we connected, we laughed, we talked, we went home. There was no rushing it. They didn't want to stay at my house immediately. They let me talk to they let me hang out with my other friends. Like they weren't bothering me when I was out with my friends. They were really supportive. Like, do they really like me? Yes, they do. They're just healthy. We just don't know how to recognize that yet, right? The connection is highly physical and sexual. So right off the bat, hot and heavy, you're having so much sex immediately. They have to make that move so fast and hook you and make you think that this is just like, again, this just crazy chemistry, like hot and heavy right up front, which by the way, they're probably going to take that away after a little bit. And then, so with true love, the connection is physical, sexual, emotional, and intellectual. They want to have sex with you. You want to have sex with them, but it's not a must. You're doing other things too. You're not seeing each other every day, so it's all spread out over time. And again, it's not just physical. You want to talk to them. You want to get to know them. You want to see how they act in public, how they treat other people, like all of that stuff, right? It's not just about sex up front. The relationship cycles through extreme highs and lows. You don't really know where you stand in their life. It's mixed signals. One minute they're like declaring their true love. The next minute they're tackling you. They're yelling at you. They're complaining about you. They're telling you don't look good in that outfit. Like it's just constantly like ups and downs, ups and downs. With true love, the relationship is stable and predictable and based on mutual trust. So you already trust each other. You feel safe. You feel comfortable. You know the person respects you. You can kind of like something happens and it's just not this huge dip. And then like, oh my God, we're on that high again. It's just like, yeah, you have like, you both have your own feelings. You both have things you're going through, but it's like, we're safe here. We're going to bed. We're doing okay. Everything's fine. You're not just like, oh my gosh, am I going to lose this person? Oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh, they're threatening me again. Oh my gosh. You're chill, right? Important conversations are avoided. So I bring something up, you're an abuser. I say, hey, can we talk about what happened last night? Oh my God. Oh, we're going to do this again. Oh my God. I have to go. I can't deal with you. Bye. They storm off. They hang up on you. They do this. They do that. They cannot actually genuinely have conversations with you like that. Important conversations are a priority. So something happened. I was triggered by something. I want to tell you about it because I want to make sure that we can navigate this together in the future. So I say, hey, can we talk about last night? This happened with my friend in Mexico. We're not dating. We're both queer people. And we were out together. We've been very good friends for 13 years. And I got upset. I got triggered. I felt trapped. We were at a club. I wanted to go home. And I asked him, he asked if we could talk. And I said, can we please wait until tomorrow? Like, I love you. Everything's fine, but I got to go to bed. It's 3:00 in the morning. And the next morning we sat down, we talked, we repaired the rupture. It was a priority for us to understand what happened, to make that connection. He wanted to hear where I was coming from. I accepted his apology. I was like, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just me. Like, I have this feeling. And I should have explained to you better, like, as I was starting to feel that feeling versus waiting until you were ready to go to be like, what the hell? And we're not dating. So, but that's a really good example of a healthy relationship. The relationship feels like an addiction that you're powerless to quit. I was so addicted to that person, to that relationship. You don't feel like you can leave. You feel like you will just collapse and you can't live without them. That's not healthy. That's not how it's supposed to be. Healthy people are not addicted to each other. They complement each other's lives. They don't spend all their time together. They have their own hobbies. It's a privilege and honor and a choice. I am glad to be here. It's not perfect. Maybe we've been together for a long time. We don't have that, same, like, we have kids now, we have jobs now. Like, when we met, oh my gosh, it was so fun. We had like a whole summer where we were both off and we got to travel around. It was so great. But I'm here and I love you. And this is such a privilege to like go through all of this with you, even the hard times, even when we lost somebody that we loved, even when COVID happened and we wanted to wring each other's necks because we were together all the time. It's still a privilege to be here. I'm glad I'm going through this with you versus, oh my God, 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 oh my God. Okay. Do you have any questions about what I just explained with the trauma bond? Everything's like a roller coaster every day. That's what's happening now. Yeah. I mean, it's not a way to live. It's not a way to live. And I'm not going to tell you to leave because it's not that easy, but it's definitely something that you need to be able to like admit to yourself and start making changes. I don't know how to get help at this point. Hire a coach. I offer one-on-ones. There's 16 of us in the Narc Avengers group. We all offer one-on-one coaching, different price ranges, different availability, different whatever. If you can afford to hire a coach, it does not have to be me. I'm not that person. A coach will help you. Or some of us have courses. Lisa Sunny has courses. There's books. Like, some of the people in our group have written books. Like, whatever resource is right for you, that's what you have to do. It's not a one size fits all journey. Like, there's like kind of like cut and dry, like, you have to get out of the situation. You have to go no contact. You have to stop seeing them. You have to all of this stuff in order to get better. But we're all different. We're all in different situations. It might not be safe for all of us to leave in the way that, like, how I left might not be safe for you and vice versa. But there are so many resources out there. We just got to find the right one for you. Can we talk about narcissistic mothers, please? So I do not have a narcissistic mother. My abuser has a narcissistic mother. Again, there are several people in our group who have narcissistic mothers who are going to be better resources on that than I am. I'm happy to give those names if you want to. What I saw was like, so even though like my abuser is a narcissist, their parent is as well. So every time they would call their mother with an issue, mama would make it all about her. Mama would be like, well, this is how I feel. Well, I had to do this for you. And like, you're not great. Like, it's always about mom. You don't matter at all. You're just a pawn in her life to like make her look good. And you better make her look good, because if you don't, she's ashamed of you and she's going to tell you. But that was all that I really experienced with the narcissistic mother. She's not my own. I maintain distance from her. But yeah, there are definitely other creators out here who are going to be much better resources on that than I am. My current relationship is solid, but I still play out emotional patterns from the previous lost connection for a second. You can sit with that neutral third party who can be like, okay, you're in a great space. Let's do this together. Let's work through some coping skills. Let's talk what are the triggers? What happens when that trigger happens? How are you reacting? Okay, so this is your coping mechanism for that. Let's talk whatever it is. And coaching is a really awesome option because it's like client led. So it's like, where are you right now? What's the most important thing? I'm going to let you lead this, whatever you're comfortable with. It's not like therapy where it's like, I'm in charge here because I have a PhD or whatever. I love coaching. It's really awesome. I have no income. I'll have to see what I can find for free resources. There's definitely stuff out there with like workshops or webinars and things like that. Watch YouTube videos and listen to podcasts. That's what I did. I wasn't doing coaching and I wasn't doing therapy, but I listened to Lee Hammock's podcast. I watched YouTube videos. Lisa Sunny helped me a lot. She's at Stronger Than Before. Do what, like, consume all the free content that you can, but obviously, like, there's some misinformation out there about narcissism. There's some misinformation. I have seen creators saying that their partner was a narcissist, and I do think that they're just mad that they had a breakup and their partner is maybe has narcissistic tendencies and like their partner is maybe, an asshole, but like, it's not my place to say whether they were or weren't. Like, we'll never know. But I do think people are starting to see that like narcissism is trending. And so they're like, well, I'm going to take over and I'm going to start talking about this. And I'm going to share about this and that I experienced and all of that stuff. So make sure that you're learning from, I don't know how to say, like, make sure you're learning from the right people, but make sure, like, for me, for example, it's the people who have gotten out of these relationships or have narcissistic parents and then went and got certified as a coach, and now they're talking about it. And I'm not saying like people with like real world experience who aren't also trained in this aren't good resources, but to try to get out of these relationships, you need someone who's aware of how to give the information, aware of how to not give bad information that's going to put you in a dangerous place and things like that. So Dr. Ramani, Lee Hammock, Carrie McAvoy, Lisa Sunny, Manjit Rai, these are all incredible creators that are putting out information that's going to be really helpful for you, and it's free. All right. I think I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to go outside before it's cold outside and rainy and dreary forever because I live in Washington. So